He learned her schedule before he learned her language. Not because it was required, though technically it was, but because patterns were easier than politics. She moved like a living treaty, precise, intentional, never wasting motion. Every step of her digitigrade legs landed softly, her long vulpine tail counterbalancing her posture like an equation constantly solving itself. Her ears twitched not with emotion, but with processing. Always processing. The other guards called her the fox, which was incorrect in 6 biological ways and politically insulting in 3 more. He never said it. He called her ambassador. Sometimes, ma'am. Once, accidentally. Hey, don't touch that. She'd paused, blinked, and said, I am a diplomat. I am permitted to touch all things. Then she'd poked a restricted control panel out of curiosity. That was the day he realized his assignment was going to be complicated. Her species, the Varethi, did not bond. Not romantically, not emotionally, not even platonically, in any human sense. They formed alliances. They exchanged value. They moved on. Attachment was considered a neurological inefficiency, a malfunction. Humans, according to their files, were nothing but malfunctions. He was supposed to be temporary, disposable, a warm, reactive shield of muscle and reflexes. He knew this. Everyone knew this. He just didn't operate that way. She noticed everything about him and seemed fascinated by none of it. Your heart rate increases when you laugh, she said once, while he was walking beside her down a polished, diplomatic corridor.
Yeah.
That's how hearts work.
No.
Your rate spikes disproportionately. It is inefficient. I'll let it know. She stopped walking. He nearly collided with her. Do not be sarcastic. I am attempting to understand your species. That makes one of us. Her ears angled toward him. That response contained humor. Congrats. You're learning. She considered him for a long moment, eyes luminous, unblinking. Humor appears to be a verbal defense mechanism. Sometimes. Sometimes it's just fun. Fun is not a strategic priority. Neither is touching restricted control panels, but here we are. She studied him again. You correct me more than you should. Occupational hazard. Correction. Emotional hazard. He snorted. Careful, ambassador. If you keep saying stuff like that, people are going to think you care. Her tail flicked. That would be biologically impossible.
Sure, he said.
Whatever helps you sleep. I do not sleep. Of course you don't. It was this weird, constant verbal fencing that made the other diplomat stare. He spoke to her like she was normal. Not sacred. Not dangerous. Not untouchable. She noticed that too. Why do you not fear me? She asked one evening while reviewing treaty amendments. He leaned against the wall, arms crossed. Should I? You should be intimidated by my authority. I've been yelled at by my grandmother. I'm immune. That is not comparable. Trust me. It is. She tilted her head. You are unusually relaxed for someone tasked with preserving my life. He shrugged. I take the job seriously. I don't take myself seriously. That, apparently, was a human trait she found deeply confusing. The first time he called her out of habit, not protocol, it slipped out mid-sentence. You're not wrong, but... He froze. She turned slowly. What did you call me, ma'am?
No.
Before that. You? She took a step closer. Again.
He sighed.
You're not wrong.
No.
The other sound. He stared at the ceiling. You're really gonna make me do this? Yes. You. That was not it. Fox. Her ears flattened. The room temperature seemed to drop. I apologize, he said immediately. That was stupid. I didn't mean... Human, she said softly. Repeat the sound before the insult. I didn't insult you. Foxes are... The sound. You're? She blinked. That is a contraction. Yes. You were about to say something else. He stared at her. Ambassador, he said carefully. Why are you interrogating me about my grammar? Because, she said, stepping closer, I am learning your pattern. Her proximity was noticeable. Not threatening. Just close. Too close for diplomatic norms. Okay, he said slowly. And what do you think my pattern is? That you correct me. You interrupt me. You look at me when I am silent. You place yourself between me and doors. You do not calculate risk. You act. That's my whole species in a nutshell.
No.
It is you.
He paused.
Ambassador. You hesitate when you say my title, she said. But you do not hesitate when you step in front of me. Well, he said, that's kind of the job. No, she replied. It is not. He frowned. Pretty sure it is. She studied him, expression unreadable. If you are terminated, you will be replaced within 22 minutes.
Wow.
That's comforting. You will not be remembered. Okay, that part was unnecessary. I am explaining your lack of strategic value.
Great.
You want to maybe do that with a little more sensitivity. Sensitivity is inefficient. Everything you don't understand is inefficient. Correct. He laughed before he could stop himself. Her ears twitched. Explain. Never mind.
No.
Explain. You're very blunt. I am precise.
Sure.
That too. She watched him. Why are you amused by me? Because you're different. Different is dangerous. So is boring. She seemed to consider this. You are not boring, she said. He blinked. Thanks. It is an observation. Still. Silence stretched between them. Not awkward. Just present. Then the alarm screamed. Not loud. Not chaotic. Just a soft, lethal hum that meant breach. She turned instantly, calculating. He moved without thinking. Ambassador, behind me. She opened her mouth. He was already there. The corridor lights dimmed, emergency strips glowing along the walls. Diplomatic aides scattered. Alien officials froze, uncertain what to do without a protocol. He positioned himself between her and the far end of the hall, where a maintenance panel slid open just a little too smoothly. Do not move, he said quietly. You are not authorized to issue commands to me, she replied.
Cool.
I'm doing it anyway. Something metallic clicked. He didn't think. He stepped forward. The impact was sharp, searing, immediate.
Heat.
Pressure.
Wet.
He staggered. She made a sound. It was not a word. It was not language. It was not diplomatic.
It was raw.
He hit the floor. Blood spread fast. Human blood. Dark. Unmistakable. Her pupils dilated. Her breathing stuttered. Medical units rushed in. Security swarmed. Panic rippled. She knelt. That alone violated 12 protocols. He looked up at her, face pale but still annoyingly calm. Hey, he rasped. Guess I failed the whole disposable thing. She stared at the blood. At his wound. At his hands. Her hands were shaking. This is not optimal, she whispered. Yeah, he said weakly. Kinda sucks. You were not supposed to do that. He smiled faintly. Story of my life. Her tail curled tight behind her. Do not close your eyes, she said. Bossy, he murmured. I am not emotionally equipped for this, she said. Join the club. Her voice dropped. You are not replaceable. He laughed, coughing. Gonna have to disagree with you there.
No, she said.
You are wrong. She looked up, eyes burning, and issued a command no Varethi diplomat had ever spoken. Seal this wing. Cancel my next 3 negotiations. Delay everything. An aide stammered. Ambassador, protocol. I am rewriting it. She looked back down at him. You bled for me, she said. Yeah, he said. I tend to do that. Her ears flattened. Then I will not permit you to disappear. He tried to joke. He didn't finish. And for the first time in her life, the rules felt optional. The medbay smelled like antiseptic and hot metal, like someone had tried to sterilize fear. He came to in pieces. First sound, a steady pulse beep that felt like a tiny judge tapping a gavel in his skull. Second, muted voices, crisp and clipped, speaking Varethi formal code like they were reading from a legal manual. Third, the sensation of weight across his torso, tight, pressurized, as if his ribs were being hugged by a machine that didn't like him. He opened his eyes. Ceiling lights. Too white. Too bright. He tried to lift his hand, and discovered his arm had been politely persuaded not to. "Do not move," a voice said, smooth and practiced. He turned his head slowly, and found two Varethi medics standing near a diagnostic pillar. Their coats were spotless. Their expressions were not expressions at all, just professional neutrality arranged into faces. "Am I alive?" he croaked. "Or is this one of those post-life onboarding situations?" One medic blinked. The other didn't. "You are alive," the first replied. "Cool," he murmured. "Not my best decision, but cool." "You suffered a penetrating thermal laceration across the upper left thoracic region," the medic continued. "You lost approximately—" "Let me guess," he interrupted, "an amount you find inefficient." The medic paused. "Correct." He coughed, felt pain flare, and gritted his teeth. "Where's the ambassador?" The medics exchanged a glance that wasn't a glance. It was a data transfer. "She is not in the ward," the second said. He exhaled. "Good. I don't want her seeing." A door hissed open. Silence snapped tight. Every Varethi in the room straightened. The medics took half a step back, like gravity had shifted.
She walked in.
No entourage. No aides. No political mask. Just her. Her fur was perfectly groomed, still immaculate, but her posture wasn't. Her shoulders sat too high. Her tail was pulled close to her body, wrapped in an unnatural loop. Her ears angled forward with a predator's focus, but her eyes looked wrong. Too bright. Too wide. Too human. He tried to sit up.
Failed.
"Ambassador," he said, voice hoarse. She crossed the room like a missile given permission to care. "You are conscious," she said. "I'm talented like that." Her gaze went to the bandage harness across his chest, the sealed wound under it, the faint stain where blood had tried to escape and been denied. She stared at the stain like it had insulted her. "Your blood is still outside you," she said. "Yeah," he rasped. "It's on a break." Her ears twitched sharply. That was humor. "Look at you," he said. "Big progress." She didn't acknowledge the compliment. She stepped closer until she was standing at his bedside. "Why did you do it?" she asked. He blinked. "Do what?" "Absorb the attack meant for me." He frowned. "Because that's the job." "That is the function," she corrected, "not the requirement." He stared at her. "Are we seriously debating semantics while I'm held together by alien Velcro?" "It is not Velcro," she said coldly. "It is a compression stabilizer."
Sure.
"Space Velcro." Her tail flicked, one sharp, annoyed movement. "Stop speaking." He lifted his brows.
Wow.
"You always tell your wounded guards to shut up." "I do not have wounded guards," she snapped. The room got colder. The medics pretended they were invisible. They were excellent at it. He swallowed. "Okay. Sorry." Her chest rose and fell once, controlled. Then she turned, voice tightening into authority. "Leave us." A medic hesitated. "Ambassador, protocol states." "Protocol can stabilize itself," she said. "Go." They vanished. The door sealed. Now it was just them and the beep-beep judge in the corner. He tried to read her face. He was good at reading faces. Not hers normally. Hers usually sat behind diplomacy, like a locked vault. But right now, the vault door had a crack in it. "You shouldn't be here," he said softly. "I am aware," she replied. "People will talk." "They already are." He coughed, winced, and she flinched at the sound like it physically struck her. He noticed. "Ambassador." "No," she cut in. "Do not attempt to soothe me. That is my role." He laughed, then regretted it. "Your role is to soothe me?" Her ears angled toward him, offended. "I am the diplomat. I manage outcomes."
"And I'm the guard," he said.
"I manage threats. That includes you freaking out." "I am not."
She stopped.
She looked away. That was the tell. The tiny fracture. "I am experiencing an anomaly," she said, voice lower. "What kind?" "An internal pull," she said. "A sustained fixation." He blinked slowly. "That sounds like stress." Or bonding. Her head snapped back. Do not say that word. He held up his good hand a little. Okay.
Sorry.
Forbidden word. She stared at him like she wanted to erase the entire concept from the universe. Then, quietly, it is not possible. He watched her. You keep saying that, he said. It is fact. And yet, he murmured, you're here. Her tail tightened. I am here because you are compromised and I need my asset functional. He grinned.
Wow.
Romance. Her eyes narrowed. That was also humor.
See?
You're getting funnier. She didn't smile,
But the corner of her mouth almost.
almost. Then her gaze dropped to his chest again. Your blood, she said, voice tight, was on the floor. He blinked.
Yeah.
I saw it. He said nothing. I stepped in it. He swallowed. Okay. It clung to my boot. He stared at her. Ambassador, what are you doing right now? Her ears lowered. I do not know.
He felt it then.
Not just tension. Not just care. Possession. Not in a sexual way. In a territorial, dangerous way. Like she'd discovered something valuable and the universe was trying to take it. I ordered the wings sealed, she said abruptly. I heard, he murmured. You kinda went full dictator. It was required. No, he said gently. It wasn't. Her gaze sharpened. Do not contradict me. Okay, he said. Then I'll rephrase. You didn't have to do it. Her fingers flexed at her side.
Yes.
I did. He watched her, steady. Why? She hesitated. He'd never seen her hesitate this long. Because, she said finally, when you stopped moving, my awareness widened. He frowned. What does that mean? It means the room changed shape, she said. The air became hostile. The future became uncertain. He stared at her quiet. I do not tolerate uncertainty, she continued, voice strained. I eliminate it. So you're eliminating uncertainty by hanging out with a bleeding human in a med bay. She looked at him. Yes. He breathed out slowly. That's the new strategy. It is not strategy, she said almost too fast. It is necessity. He let that sit. Then he said, softer. You feel unsafe. Her jaw tightened. I did not say that. You don't have to, he replied. She stared at him for a long moment, then leaned slightly closer, voice dropping into something that wasn't diplomacy. Human, she said, your species has phrases. Yeah, phrases that can mean two things simultaneously. He smiled faintly.
Oh.
You mean double meanings? Yes, she said. One of your aides said I was breaking rules for you. He blinked. They said that. They whispered it, she corrected, as if the words were dirty. He tried not to wince when he shifted. And? Are you? Her eyes held his. I am not sure what the other meaning is. He chuckled. It usually depends on tone. I have tone, she said, offended. He lifted a brow. Do you? She leaned closer. Demonstrate. He laughed again. Ambassador, I'm injured. I am aware, she said. That is the problem. He blinked. The problem is I'm injured? The problem is that your injury is mine, she said, and then froze, as if she had just confessed to a crime. The air went still. He stared at her. That, he said quietly, was definitely not diplomatic. Her ears trembled. Erase it. I can't, he murmured. I heard it. Her breath caught. Then pretend you did not. He studied her, then said carefully, You're not good at this. This, she snapped, is not a thing.
Sure, he said.
Whatever helps you not sleep. I do not. He held up his hand.
Right.
You don't sleep. You just stare into the void and judge everyone.
She paused.
Then, almost reluctantly, correct. He smiled.
See?
That's a joke. You're learning. Her gaze flicked to his mouth. Then away. Then back. Like she was tracking something dangerous. Your mouth leaks when you laugh, she said. He blinked. My mouth leaks. Saliva, she clarified, disgusted. It is excessive. He laughed again. Ambassador, you have no idea how hard you're making it for me to flirt back. She froze. He immediately regretted it. I mean, what is flirt? She asked. He stared. Oh no, he whispered. They didn't include flirting in your cultural briefing. They did not include any human recreational deception, she said. He sighed.
Okay. So,
Flirting is like verbal dancing. Dancing is inefficient, she said. Everything is inefficient, he muttered. She leaned closer again. Explain it. He swallowed. Flirting is when you say something that sounds like one thing but means another. Her eyes narrowed. Like your humor. Exactly. And it is used to create desire? He blinked. Sometimes. Her gaze sharpened. Is that what you are doing to me? He choked on air. Me?
no. I.
She stepped even closer, voice low. Then why do I keep noticing your voice? He stared at her, stunned. The beep-beep judge in the corner suddenly felt too loud. Ambassador, he said softly, you're noticing my voice because you're stressed. You just watched me. I watched you bleed, she cut in. Her hands clenched. And the rules said, she continued, that the correct response is replacement. He swallowed. And I found that response unacceptable. He stared at her. Unacceptable, he echoed. Yes, she whispered. Like a toxin. His throat tightened. So, what are you going to do? Her eyes locked onto his. I will not replace you. He exhaled slowly. They're not gonna like that. I do not care, she said. That's dangerous. Her tail flicked once, sharp, decisive. I am a diplomat, she said. Danger is my native language. He smiled faintly. Then what's the plan? She leaned in, close enough that he could see the fine shimmer in her fur, the tiny tremor in her ears, the way her composure was being held together by willpower. I will break every rule, she said quietly, until you are stable. He swallowed. That's a lot of rules. That is why I selected you, she murmured. He blinked. You selected me? She froze again. He grinned weakly. Ambassador, your mouth is leaking too. Her eyes widened. What? Words, he said. Careful. They're spilling. Her ears flattened in furious embarrassment. Then she did something that made his brain short-circuit. She reached down and placed 2 fingers lightly on his wrist, where his pulse beat under skin. Not medical. Not diagnostic. Just there. I do not understand, she whispered, more to herself than to him. Why your species can endure this and still joke. He looked at her hand on his wrist, then at her eyes. Because, he said softly, if we don't joke, we feel the pain twice. Her fingers tightened slightly. The door hissed. An aide's voice filtered through, hesitant. Ambassador, the council is requesting. She didn't move her hand. Tell them, she said calmly, I am in negotiations. The aide paused. With whom? Her eyes stayed on him. With reality, she said. And the door sealed again. He stared at her, heartbeat loud under her fingers. Ambassador, he murmured, you just lied to the council.
She didn't blink.
Yes. That's breaking rules. Her voice dropped, almost dangerous. I have not begun. The rumor started before he could stand. They moved faster than diplomats, faster than data, faster than logic. Whispers slid through hallways, filtered through translators, warped by curiosity and sharpened by scandal. The Vulpine diplomat had gone strange. She was delaying meetings, canceling negotiations, demanding physical proximity from her human guard despite medical advisories, keeping him on her wing instead of in a recovery ward. And worse, she was smiling. Not often, not obviously, but enough. He found out when an aide accidentally bowed to him. He said, steadying himself against the rail. I think you're confused. The aide went rigid. Apologies, bonded protector. He blinked. I'm what? The aide's eyes widened. You have not been informed?
About what?
My new cult status. The aide swallowed. The phrase bleeds for has specific connotations. He stared. You're telling me my job title has sexual undertones? Territorial undertones, the aide corrected. which often lead to. Nope, he said quickly.
Nope.
Do not finish that sentence. He limped down the corridor, heart pounding, toward her office. He found her standing at a transparent viewport, staring out at the drifting sprawl of the Capitol station. Her tail swayed slowly, almost contemplatively. You are walking too soon, she said without turning. Your engineering trade conflicts too soon, he shot back. She turned. They stared at each other. You're destabilizing 3 systems, he continued. You canceled a summit. You delayed a transit corridor. You rerouted security. All strategically necessary, she said.
For what? He demanded.
Me? Her eyes flicked away. That was answer enough. He stepped closer, careful with his ribs. Ambassador, he said quietly, you can't do this. I can, she replied. You shouldn't. I am. That's not an argument. It is for me. He rubbed his face. People think we're bonded. She froze. They bow to me, he added. Her ears flicked. That is incorrect protocol. You think. He sighed. Your people have a word for it, don't they? She hesitated. Yes. And she hesitated longer. It implies permanence. His breath caught. You're telling me they think I belong to you. Her jaw tightened. That is not the phrasing. That's the meaning. She didn't deny it. He stared at her. You know I didn't do this for ownership, he said. I know, she replied. Then why are you letting them think it? Her tail curled inward. Because correcting them would create questions. And I do not want to answer those questions. He softened. Why? She turned back to the viewport. Because, she said, the answers are inefficient. He stepped closer. Try me. She didn't look at him. My species does not experience reliance. He said nothing. We trade value, she continued. We exchange. We replace. He swallowed. And when you were horizontal, she added, voice tightening, my brain did not accept replacement. His chest ached. Not from injury. From her. That's not nothing, he said gently. She laughed once, short, sharp. That is everything. He stepped in front of her, blocking the viewport. You're risking your career. Yes. Your position. Yes. Your species' trust. Yes. For what? She looked up at him. For the absence of you, she said quietly. To stop feeling like death. The word hit him harder than the blade had. He stared. That's not diplomatic, he whispered. I am not being diplomatic, she said. He exhaled slowly. You're breaking rules. Yes. For me. Yes. He laughed softly. You're really bad at pretending you don't care.
She glared.
I do not. He raised a brow. She stopped. Her ears flattened in frustration. I am recalibrating, she said. Yeah, he murmured. That's one way to say it. She paced once. Then again. Her tail lashed. Every system I enter now calculates you, she said. Your presence alters my assessments. My risk thresholds. My priorities. That's what people do, he said. I am not people. You are to me. She froze. He hadn't meant to say it. Too late. She turned slowly. Explain. He swallowed. You're not a symbol. Or a species. Or a position. You're just you. Her breathing shifted. Faster. Shallower. That is dangerous language. Welcome to my species. She stared at him. Do you understand what you are doing to me? She asked. Yeah, he said softly. I think I do. You are making me singular, she whispered. He stepped closer. That's not a bad thing. It is for me, she snapped. It means I cannot distribute. Distribute what? Her eyes locked onto his. My attention. His pulse jumped. I do not allocate, she said. I fixate. He blinked. That sounds unhealthy. Yes. He laughed quietly. Then we're both in trouble. She studied him, then asked, Why do you keep staying? He shrugged. You haven't told me to leave. That is not an answer. Yes, it is. She moved closer. Humans leave. Some do. Why don't you? He looked at her. really looked. Because, he said, you don't know how to ask for people to stay. Her breath hitched. You command, he continued. You assign. You calculate. But you don't request. She stared at him. And I think, he added, you're afraid to. Her voice dropped. I am not afraid. He smiled faintly. Sure. She stepped closer again. You should be frightened of me, she said. Why? Because I am altering entire systems for you. He tilted his head. That sounds like loyalty. That is not a concept I possess. You do now. Her ears flattened. That is a human word, she said. So is mine, he replied. But you keep using it. She hesitated. Then, what is loyalty? He thought for a moment. It's when you choose someone, he said, even when it costs you. Her eyes narrowed. That is irrational. Yep. She studied him. I am doing that, she said slowly. Yes. For you. Yes. This is catastrophic. He smiled.
Yeah.
Silence stretched. Then she said, they are pressuring me. He frowned. Who? The council. My homeworld. They have noticed. Noticed what? That I am orbiting you. He blinked. Orbiting.
Yes.
I schedule around you. My routes curve toward you. My directives now include your proximity. That's weirdly romantic. It is not romantic, she snapped. Okay, he said. But it's not nothing. She paced again. They are issuing a replacement order, she said. His stomach dropped.
What?
You are to be reassigned, she continued. A new guard will be appointed. When? Soon. He exhaled. Okay. She turned sharply. That is your response? What do you want me to say? He asked. That I'll fight them? I'm not a diplomat. She stepped closer. You are something.
Yeah, he said.
Temporary. Her voice went dangerously quiet. Say that again. He swallowed. Ambassador. You're not temporary, she said. You are disruptive. He smiled faintly. Highest compliment I've gotten all week. She grabbed his sleeve. Not hard. Just there. Her grip trembled. You will not leave, she said. He stared at her hand on his arm. Then at her eyes. You don't get to order me like that, he said gently. I am not ordering, she whispered. Then what are you doing? She hesitated. Then, in a voice stripped of diplomacy, strategy, and authority, I am asking. The word hung between them like a weapon. He felt his chest tighten. That's new for you. Yes, she said. It is. He took a slow breath. I won't leave, he said. Her fingers tightened. But, he added, I won't let you burn your world down for me either. Her gaze sharpened. I would. I know, he said. That's what scares me. She released his sleeve, then said something that made his pulse spike. I do not want to be reasonable. He swallowed. You're not making this easy. That is not my function. He laughed softly. You're learning my species really fast. She stepped closer. I want you near, she said. That's not professional. I am not being professional. He swallowed. That's dangerous. Yes, she said. For both of us. He studied her. You don't know what you're doing. No, she agreed. But I know what I feel when you are absent. And that is unstable. He exhaled. That's a lot. She leaned in slightly, voice low. You bleed for me, she said. I destabilize for you. He stared at her. That's the most romantic threat I've ever heard. Her ears flattened. Do not mock this. I'm not, he said softly. She searched his face. I am violating everything, she whispered. He smiled faintly. Yeah. For you. Yes. And you, she added, eyes sharp. Do not run. No, he said. I stand. Her gaze dropped to his chest, where the wound still healed. You stood too much, she murmured. He shrugged. Occupational hazard. She stepped closer again. You are altering me, she said. Join the club. Her voice lowered. If they take you. He shook his head. They won't. You do not know that. I do, he said. Because you won't let them. Her eyes locked on his.
Correct, she said.
And for the first time he realized, this wasn't romance. This was revolution. And she was willing to burn diplomacy to the ground for him.
Which was terrifying.
And weirdly flattering. And absolutely not safe. He smiled. Ambassador, he murmured. You're going to start a war. She tilted her head.
For you, she said.
Yeah, he replied. That's what scares me. She leaned in just enough for her breath to brush his cheek. That, she whispered, is why I selected you. His pulse hammered. You didn't select me, he said. You found me. She smiled. A real one. And somewhere in the capital station, laws began to quietly fail.